Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about Saturn going into Capricorn for all Leo ascendants. Now, this is what's actually going on in your life, in your reality of your life, because Saturn brings reality. And I can even speak on this because I'm a Leo ascendant. So, let's get into it. Now, off the bat, what is Saturn? Saturn brings reality in one's life. It's how one sees reality. So whatever sign a person has Saturn in and whatever angle is making, that's how one sees reality. Now, based upon this reading I'm about to give right now, this is the main theme. So you can correlate if you have any other planets squaring or opposing this placement, or if you have, or, you know, this is just the main theme. So you will be able to break this down, how this is taking shape and form in every angle of your life. But this is just actually the main theme, so you could correlate it with everything that's going on. Now, Saturn works as a bulldozer. It blows down, it just tears down the house that it's going into. So Saturn brings reality. It's how one sees reality, how one gains structure in their life. You see what I'm saying? And it's also where one places and receives boundaries and restrictions and limits. You see what I'm saying? So with Saturn right here, Saturn, based upon degrees, it may still be mixing and mingling into the 5th house every now and then, but for the most part, it's done with this house. It then broke it down and built it back up, reshaped it and formed it. It's now cleaning the dust off, wiping the windows out, and taking out the trash. You see what I'm saying? I mean, wiping the windows down and taking out the trash. So you know what I'm saying? So Capricorn is going to be in your 6th house. So it's getting you prepared, if not already. So Saturn works as a bulldozer, and it's coming to knock down all the things that reside into the 6th house. So what is the 6th house? 6th house is work, or whatever you're working on. Health, routine, scheduling, detailing, things that you criticize, whether it's yourself or others, whether it's a person, place, or thing, and your ability to analyze and your ability to criticize and look at the details. That's the 6th house. That and the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. That whole house is going to get tore down, and you're going to find yourself having to reshape and reform all mechanisms of this house, because Saturn is going to help you see the reality of this house, help you see the reality of your work, reality of what you're working on, reality of your job, reality of what you're scheduling, and if it's practical or not, reality of what you're criticizing, and the details and things of that nature, and help you reshape these things in order to help you gain structure in your life based upon these things. So, you know, it's going to tear down that whole aspect of how you, like, everything that you was doing based upon schedule, routines, and things of that nature. You're going to have to find yourself restructuring a routine, having to reschedule a lot of things, or find a whole shifting into you on a whole nother type of schedule now. You see what I'm saying? Even when it comes to work or whatever you're working on, you're going to find yourself having to restructure, reanalyze these things. Whatever you're working on is going to get torn down, and you're going to find yourself rebuilding and restructuring something else that you're working on, and things of that nature. So keep that in mind. This is the main theme. The main theme is revolved around things that you're working on: health, routine, scheduling, you know, practicality, how things work, being able to see how not only yourself, but how other people think and come together with practical conclusions and things of that nature. Even your job to a certain degree. So Saturn is, you may even have to find yourself going to another job because the job that you just was at had reshaped and reformed in some type of way. Either you got fired, or the business stopped running, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So this is the main theme for all Leo ascendances. You see what I'm saying? Now, risings. So for the most part, now I can't just leave you with the theme without giving you some tools. Now the tools that you have is going to be the oppositions and the squares. You see what I'm saying? So that's the actual tools that you have. And we know squares is learning processes. Oppositions is the give and receive, and it can attract, but off the back it's going to cause friction for the most part. So let's talk about it. What is opposite to the now Capricorn, Saturn? Now 12th house is the opposite house to the 6th house. So what we have to understand here is this is going to be automatically the friction that go on. This is and this is automatically going to be the tug of war match that happens. So what is the 12th house? Your subconscious realm, how you already subconsciously act and how you already subconsciously do things. So that means the things you're subconsciously comfortable with doing. I can't wait till I go home and do this, or I can't wait till I go here and do that. These are things you already feel comfortable subconsciously with doing. So for the most part, you know, it's also dealing with your creativity, imagination, dreams, spirituality, fantasy realms, and all these far out collective conscious ideas, and your ability to connect with the collective conscious and things of that nature. So these is going to clash with your 6th house. You're not going to know whether to take your imagination, dreams, and illusions and things of that nature, or you're not going to be able to decipher that between what you should be working on in reality and what you should be looking at the details of and coming to practical conclusions, and then vice versa. The things that you're working on and the things that you do have on your day-to-day tasks and scheduling ain't going to really have nothing to do with your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. So at some point in time, you're going to have to break that barrier and create a give and receive match other than a tug-of-war match. And how to make this a blended give and receive match and more of an attraction. Sometimes you may have to set aside what you're working on and your work and your scheduling and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and what you're criticizing and looking at the details of. Sometimes you may have to set that aside for your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and your subconscious realm and things you're subconsciously into. But for that not to be perceived as too much of an illusion, sometimes you may have to set aside your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and fantasies for the sake of what you're actually working on and what you have on schedule, and not losing that schedule and staying on task and things of that nature. So, you know, that's how you make this a give and receive other than a tug-of-war match. Even applying some of your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination to whatever you're working on and your scheduling and your detailing, your ability to look at the details and criticize these things. Yeah, do that to your 12th house. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to get to the squares. Now, you know, for the most part, when we talk about the 6th house, the squares to the 10th house is going to be the 3rd house and the 3rd and the 9th house. So these are the squares to the 6th house, the 3rd and the 9th house. So the squares represents the learning process. You know what I'm saying? So let's start with the 3rd house. Now, as far as the 6th house, now 3rd house is your surroundings and what you're familiar with, whether that's a gift, talent, trade, anytime it's something that step into your familiarity realm of reality, it's in your 3rd house, and it's in your close proximities, and it's your surroundings, like your neighborhood or things in your home, your room, you know. So your 3rd house, you need to learn how to apply these things to your 6th house in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be experiencing a lot of situations where the things that you working on, you know what I'm saying, the things that you got on schedule and detailing and things that you trying to make work for you has nothing to do with your surroundings. May have nothing to do with what you're familiar with based upon the people, places, and things. So maybe in some way, shape, or form, learn how to apply people that you're familiar with the things that you're working on in some way, shape, or form. And don't exclude them, because the more you exclude things in your surroundings with the things that you're working on, the more you're gonna experience a bunch of storms coming, and you ain't got no roof in your 6th house yet. So this is all these things is how to build your roof faster, build your house faster, so you don't have to experience anything. You may have your house built before a storm comes. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, yeah, you're gonna see Saturn is gonna make you see the reality of what you're working on, reality of what you're scheduling, reality of what you're seeing the details of. So based upon the 3rd house, you're gonna have to see, understand the reality and learn how to apply things of your surrounding to the things that you're working on, things that you got on schedule, routine, and task in some way, shape, or form. And by me even talking about this now, I'm trying to think of what do I mean by that? What is I'm familiar with? So for the most part, I'm familiar with doing this, right? So I need to learn how to make this a part of my schedule, make this a part of a, and y'all probably can be able to pinpoint what I'm talking about now. So I just made sense out of that because I'm a Leo ascendant. You know what I'm saying? I need to, and I learned something myself by even just talking about this. So in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to learn how to take what I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with doing this shit right now. I'm talking about natal readings and the astral and the the real forecast. But in some way, shape, or form, I need to learn how to make this part of a schedule. Make this part of a task, a day-to-day routine. You know, make it part of my work. Make it what I'm working on. Start criticizing these type of things in my life. Damn. Thank you, Flight Boss. Now, let's go to the 9th house. Now, what's the 9th house represents? Higher learning, higher education, wisdom, knowledge, meanings, and reasonings, broad philosophical points of ways of looking at the world, spirituality, and God, experiences, you know, all your experiences in your life. You need to learn how to apply these things to the 6th house, which is your work, health, routine, things that you're doing on a day-to-day task, because, you know, that whole area of life is getting tore down. You know what I'm saying? It has to take reshaping form. And Saturn has done that. So in order for you to gain any kind of structure, you need to learn how to apply. And learn how to apply the 9th house things into this house. So the experiences that you may have went through, that you would know right from wrong from, that you have gained meaning and reasoning from, that you have gained some wisdom and knowledge on it and tied higher meaning and reasonings to. You need to learn how to start applying that to what you're working on, or your work and your job in general, or whatever you're working on, or your scheduling, your routine. Do these things with wisdom and criticize and look at the details, and do these things with wisdom, with knowledge, with broad philosophical points of views of looking at things. You see what I'm saying? Use your education, your higher education, to do these things and look and see these things. See what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Now, long as you applying that and your experiences that you had, you would know what kind of job you should be in, because you know you don't want to experience that based upon applying your 9th house to the 6th house. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's for all my Leo ascendants. Saturn going into Capricorn and how it's going to affect your life. And this is the main theme. Flight Boss, bitch. Goddamn air.